we will start about the introductions to the OOPS concepts in C Sharp. Not only C Sharp, OOPS concepts is same overall for any programming language. Um, Whether you go in the C Sharp or the Java, C++, Python, it's all one or the same. Maybe small changes here and there in the implementation wise or the logic wise, but maximum most of the things OOPS is a common language for all program, common for the all programming language. OOPS is not a language. OOPS is a concept. It's like a way of writing it's saying the way of writing the programs, how to write the code, how to build a project, how to design your project from the scratch level. Okay. So that's we are going to see. And one more thing I want to say that before starting the OOPS is that it's till now what we have studied is quite easy to understand because most of the things are uh, easy to understand by the name itself. For example, if condition, we can understand easily. If else, okay. Switch condition, switch statement, loop. It's all the common English terms. Okay, just by the naming, we can understand what is going to do, what is operating there, what's happening. We can guess it very easily. But when it comes for the object oriented, here that thing doesn't happen here the same way that we were in the previous class. Okay, so here we need to understand the things very carefully with a lot of practice is required. And moreover, the things people say that OOPS is a complex, it has lot of concepts over there, it's lot of um, confusion may happen, and it's a lot of difficulty to understand. Obviously, for the initially when we see for the first one or two times, we feel like that it's a little bit confusing. It has a lot of deep values in that. We have to go a lot of deeper. We have to dig more for the knowledge. We have to go for the more books. We have to read again and again. Okay, but one thing you remember what I said before is that OOPS is in concepts, right? So when it comes to a concept, we have to understand the concept, right? The way of preparing the things or the way of learning the things we have to change here. Okay, means the more passion is required, the more your interest is required. The more active you are in learning, you are the more effective, right? So let's not make the OOPS has uh, has complex or something more difficult. Okay, we will learn the things with the more active we are in learning, and we are more effective. And one more thing is that we have seen many times from our school days what we do, we keep on reading the things, means we keep on reading things over and over again and again. So there's nothing but we are memorizing the things, right? We are memorizing the things. We are from the school days we are doing that one bad concept of memorizing the things again and again until we know how it will work. But by memorizing the things, it doesn't work for the most of the people. It's not that effective. We can memorize the definitions, books overall, but it's not that effective. Okay, let's try to learn in the effective way. First, we have to decide what I'm learning. Okay, we have to decide what I'm learning. Is it a concept or a fact? Okay, so what as such, OOPS is a concept. Right? A fact is a discrete little piece. Like a fact is a little piece of information. That's it. Like Charles Babbage is the father of computers. So it's a fact. But we have to understand for understanding we need a concepts to understand what is computers, what is that. To understand we require a concept. We cannot memorize a concept, we have to understand the concept. So first we have to make clear what we are reading. So what we are reading here, object oriented. Object oriented is a concept. Okay, when it comes to the concept we have to understand the things. Okay, And means you can say that how to understand the concept, what is the way of understanding. You can understand the concept in your own words. If you can express what to learn in your own words, then it's clearly mean that you are gaining the knowledge, you're able to understand the things. Apart from memorizing and writing the same as it is with keeping in the mind, more than that, if you can put the things in your own words, that's a meaningful way of understanding, right? It will take time, but will go in it will go in such a way that, okay, oops is a concept. We try to understand the things rather than the bhayacking the things. Let's not bhayak the any definitions in the oops or any syntax, nothing. We try to understand step by step. What is oops, what are the types, what are the functionalities, why we'll use the oops. Because here we came has an important phase. If you understand the oops, it will be very easy for you to understand other programming languages. You can switch anywhere. It's not only applicable for the C#, it's applicable for all programming languages. Okay. Yeah. So, what is an oops? Actually, people say oops. Because usually standard is that object oriented, and then they added programming standards, all those things, object oriented programming standards. They're saying, but the standard what when they are introduced, they used to call only the OO, object oriented. Okay. Object oriented is nothing but we combine a group of related variables and the functions into a unit. Okay. It's a related variables and the functions. Okay, it's a group of, you can say it's a meaningful way of writing the code. If you are writing a function, in the function we are having the meaningful variables and the meaningful logic, depending what that function is representing, what the function is taking. Now oops is also same like we have the in oops we'll have the methods and the properties. What is the methods? Methods is an we have seen before, method. Any function, subprogram. Properties are nothing but the variables. Those variables we call as a properties. Okay. And in object oriented we see the group of related variables and functions into a unit. Okay, into a unit. What is a unit? Unit can be an object or a class or a subprogram. Overall, we are writing some meaningful code with a group of related variables and functions. Okay. This is about the oops concepts. The previous slide you can see that before why it came, there's only a lot of history there. Before it has a machine language 01 and assembly language. In assembly language they used to write like a mnemonic codes, add, move, sub, and they introduced the high level language. High level language is divided into two, procedure oriented and the object oriented. What is a procedure oriented? Procedure oriented, they have the functions, routines, go to, all those things. But they don't have the group of collections in the same way. They have difficulty in finding carrying the same variable to across the project. It has to be a very lengthy program. You can see the Pascal, COBOL, Fortran or C. These all are the very procedure oriented. They have used only the methods over there, only the methods, passing the parameters and some functions, but they are unable to carry the same, unable to carry, or they found very difficult to carry the variable from one to another. They found very difficult to maintain all the variables of the related in the same group. They use structures for that, and they found a lot of difficulties. So keep on increasing, and they came and they introduced object oriented. What is object oriented? The modeling of data. The data is being concentrated here. The modeling of data. The data is concentrated more. Means how to keep the data secure. How to keep the data in a single unit. How to keep the data in a single class. Okay, all the related data in one group. That is called as a class. All the related data in another group. So they have to be able to filter the things easily. And they create the concept of object. So it can carry the all the properties of the class, and it can move easily from one function to another or one class to another just by passing the instances of the class. Okay. Yeah, this is about the object oriented. So what is object oriented? This is a combination. It's a group of related variables and functions in a single unit. Okay. It has a lot of advantages. We'll see the advantages slow. Basically, the main thing we are coming to, we will come to know here in object oriented. They're more on the more or the they're concentrating more on the object. They're concentrating more on the data. How the data will flow in your programming. How you are keeping your data in a unit. How you are moving it. What are the access modifiers applied? Access modifier in the sense public, private, all those things. Okay. So first thing we come to see that object oriented is mainly it is concentrated on the data. It's an approach. It's an approach, you can say. It's an concept to further using class and objects. This is the main why they introduce. The mainly it is that it is reduces the complexity. In the typical programming procedure languages like C is there, Python, all those things, because of procedural languages. In object oriented, the main thing when you come for object oriented, we'll see about the encapsulations. Okay. What's the encapsulations? The object and the functions operating on them into an object, right? The programming, we group related variables and functions operated on them into an object, and that we call as an encapsulations. So, and this is the first term. Object oriented has been taught by the Oli John Dahl. Here we come about the principles. Principles of the object oriented. When you see the OOPS concept, you might known before. There are many things we say, right? Class, object, polymorphism, inheritance, lot of things are there. But class and object that doesn't come as an principles. There are only 4 principles in the OOPS concepts. Those are encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphisms. Okay. These are the 4 things as the principles. First one is encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, and inheritance. These are the, you can say, pillars of the object oriented. These are the core things. Without this, we cannot implement the concepts of object oriented. Everything has a strong meaning, the strong functionality. Encapsulation very strong. In encapsulation, we will see about the data hiding, data passing. We'll see about the overriding, how we are overriding the methods, how we are overriding the concepts. Abstraction is that it will show only the essential things. It will hide the remaining thing, whatever the excess you have. Only the limited things it will show, and the remaining things it will hide. So it is hiding the things. It is not allowing you to show which is unnecessary, only the required things. For example, you can say that you are calling a library, right? For example, you can see in previous sessions we are seeing that we are including the library using namespaces, right? And from the using namespace, what we are calling an array list, right? In array list, what we are doing, we are this property called array list dot add. In the add, we are passing the values. Okay, means it's allowing us to use only the array list add functionalities, allowing to use. But can we see what is happening inside the function? What is the code is written in that? We are unable to see it, right? So it is allowing us to do the work. It is allowing us to do the task, but it is restricting the most essential thing. It is restricting the code. We are unable to see what is array list dot add code is written. What is happening internally? but it's saying work will be done for you. For your, for the developer, we cannot show what's happening there. We will give the property, you use it, complete your task, that's it. So it is allowing us to use the functionality, whatever accessibility available to us, available to the user. Depending upon the authorization, it will give that things, but the other things will be hidden. Okay. Inheritance another important task, another important concept we have to um, use it. Like inheritance means inheriting the data from parent to child. We have created the two classes. I need to inherit whatever the written in the class 1 in the class 2 without writing again. So it will avoid the duplicity. Whatever the code written in the class 1, whatever the methods is written in the class 1, I need to use as it is. Keep in mind that when we say about inheritance, we have to use as it is. Means we have the class 1 and the class 2. I want to inherit all the class 1 properties, methods and functions and variables, properties into the class B. Then I have to use as it is without any modification. Means whatever there is written in the class A, that I can use in the class B without modification. That's the meaning of inheritance, right? Whatever as it is there, I will call it, I will use in the class B also. It avoid me of the code duplication. It avoid me of the uh, uh, testing part also, because it's already tested in the class A. No need to test again in the class B. Okay. And again we'll see in the deep while we are seeing the concept one by one. And polymorphism. Like polymorphism is about the concept more about the data classes and the functions. Sorry, just a little confusion. In encapsulation, I said that overriding. Sorry, overriding will come in the polymorphism, not in the encapsulations. Okay, encapsulation is about the data variable and the objects, how it is choose the essential, how we will hide the data, and how we will use the important things. For encapsulation, we can say about the class as an example. But when it comes to the polymorphism, polymorphism is about object, data, and classes, functions. Mainly, we will see about how the functions will play a role in runtime. Overloading is an compile time, but overriding is an runtime. When we do the overriding, we have to do the overriding polymorphisms for the inheritance. So we will see parallelly inheritance and the polymorphism together. First we'll see about inheritance, and for the inheritance, how can we override? Okay, at the runtime it will be happening. At the runtime, how the function is overriding means it is skipping. Okay, you are mentioning you're calling to an one instance of the class, but at the compile time, after at the runtime, what the constructor is calling, what it is overriding, that we will see in the polymorphisms. Okay. These are the main principles of the object oriented: encapsulations, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. Just say so the brief some small descriptions. In encapsulation, basically is about data hiding, right? Yeah. The best example for the encapsulation is that the class. What the class is will do? Class is bounded by the methods and variables, right? It is bounded to a method with the variables within the class, and it will allow us, like the public access modifier. It will allow only the function to be called in the below class. It is not allowing to see the walk the code. Just like I gave the previous example, right? Same as it. We can call the methods in the derived class, in the deriving class. Or else, if we are implementing the class in the library level, that we can implement through the project like ArrayList.add. Add is a class. In ArrayList.add, what we are passing a value, data. We are inserting the values there, right? But inside ArrayList.add method, we cannot see. We cannot see ArrayList.add. Okay. So because giving us only the essential things. Even if we make the class as a private, we cannot access to the other compiler, sorry, other assemblies. Okay, this is an example. We will see it because it's the we are starting now as a first class for the OOPS concept, so it might confuse just by seeing the snippet or some example. We'll get to be clear when we start working on them with an example with the code. And OOPS concept is not a good way to run theoretically. The practical implementation is very important for the OOPS concepts. Because if you see the things, it looks very easy. That's the reason people get more confused. When we see the things, what gonna happen? It feels like, okay, very simple concept. Okay, what they are writing, they implementing the class, they deriving it, and whatever they are written in the class 1, they can be accessible in the class 2. That's it, we can use it. It's very easy. Okay, it's very easy. It's simple concept. Huh? That's the reason people get confused. They feel that when we see the theoretical they feel that, okay, we understood it. I know it, everything. I have seen it. But when it when you start writing a code, when you start revising after some time, you forget everything. Because when you see the book, you are just trying to sync with it. You're trying to understand. Hmm? You are trying to understand what it is written. That feels and that make your mind to believe that you have understood everything. That's the confusion. That's the, we can say, the disadvantage or advantage of it. It's a simple concept. But the being the simple concept, we get confused that by seeing the theoretical books, by seeing some article, we feel like, okay, it's very simple. I have understood the things. There's nothing much. What they are trying, they return a class A and they return the class B in the, they deriving the class A into class B. Whatever the class A properties or the methods are there, that is coming to the class B. That's it. That's an inheritance, right? The concept is come to your mind. You feel confident. You feel very cool about that. But when you try to write a code of your own, after the 1 or 2 hours, you forget it. Okay, just by seeing an articles, we are trying to uh, link to the subject. We're trying to connect it. We are just, you can say that we're just making an impression to our mind that, okay, we are understood, but just by reading it. It's not a way. Reading, first try to understand the concept. I immediately after that implement in the code, implement in your own ways. Write it in your own definition, write it in your own words. Do couple of programs, then that will be remembered for you for the long time. Right? Because even I have did the same problem for many years. Just before any interview or just before I need to understand the concept for implementing, just temporarily I used to refer a book or article I feel I have got it, and I used to implement in my code, and after some time I used to forget. Because what I seen the what is written in the definition, I seen the syntax, and I will implement in the code, and for that time, for that task is completed. But after 2 to 3 days, I will forget again.
Yeah, Pavan, actually, I am facing the such issue. Actually, I have gone through this OOP concept and all that concept of what is a sealed class,
Yeah,
abstraction, and all that. But I am forgetting, right? I didn't
yeah,
remember. Again, I have to do the same exercise. Again, I have to give the same time again. How to
exactly,
remember?
exactly. You can. That's what I'm saying. The oops, it's not only with you. The same thing happens with me also, and even
But
most of my friends also saying the same thing because that's you can say that
how you
advantage.
overcome? That's my thing.
Yeah, yeah, correct. That's the advantage. Yeah, you can say of the OOP concept, or even you can say the disadvantage. Because OOP concept is a simple thing to understand. When we see it, we can we can try to understand the concept within 10 to 15 minutes. But but for remembering for the longer term, we require practice again and again. What I have did for personally my experience, what I could like to say is that I have made a small notes of it, not about the 100 pages, just about the 40 to 50 pages. Okay, after whatever I reach, just I'm making the notes in my own words. That's why before starting those concepts, I said it. Okay, if, if you want to make the things, just we have to make it clear what we are understanding. Because we had the bad habit from the school days, we are memorizing the things. Okay, we are memorizing the things again and again until we keep in our mind. Okay, but that is good when we are going for the theoretical things. Okay, which doesn't have the concepts, just having the only theoretical things are there, or some standard definition which we have to memorize it. So we have to clear what we are studying. Are we studying the concept or the fact? Fact we get it anywhere. Like if you study the concept, oops is a concept, object oriented is a concept. When it comes to a concept, first the way of learning has to change here. Okay, how to change it? First clear the things, understand the concept. After understanding the concept, try to put the concept in your own words. Check it, right? Test yourself. Okay, write it in your own words what you have written. Grammatical it may wrong, we don't require grammar here. Okay, and also we don't require the standard English with high level English. Just in your own words that you can understand yourself. Even after 2 to 3 days, even after 10 days, okay, I have forgot something. If I read my own notes, I can able to understand. Right? So test yourself, can you put the concepts in your own words? If you can't, if you can't put your what you read, that concept in your own words, then you don't understand it. It's not that meaningful what you prepared it. Prepare again, make it meaningful, and implement the things. Try to implement the what you understand in your own words. Okay. It is difficult, it will take some time, it's a struggle to understand it. Initially it will if you feel very complex, but when you start on doing for 2 to 3 years, you feel comfortable. Right. Okay. But it's a struggle, you need to do it. If you're not doing in such a way that then you're wasting our time, just like we are memorizing the things, we are forgetting. We are memorizing the things, we are forgetting. Even I did it many times. What I used to do, I used to prepare the things very well. I feel very good. And whenever there's the interview is there for the next 2 to 3 days, I used to forget. Again, I used to prepare it and go for the interview conference. I used to answer very well. And if any another interview is there after next 10 days or so, again I need to prepare from the starting. So what I used to do there, just I was seeing the things. When I see the things, I used to remember it's very easy to understand. I used to practice some syntax, some code, but it's forget. But to overcome is that the best way to understand the things and write in your own way. You prepare separate notes in your um, own words what you have understood. Okay, doesn't mean that that notes may understand for other people or not. It's for your personal notes. You okay? If you revise it for the one time, you have to able to understand. You have to able to recall everything what you have prepared. Obviously, the human nature we keep on forgetting, but that is small personal notes that you have to written in your own words. It is very easy to recollect the things very easily. The same thing I implemented. Or I have written my own code after digging the concept. I have prepared my own notes. So it makes out of for OOPS concept. I prepare approximately 40 to 50 pages. But so that is very easy. Whenever there is interview or whenever I want to revise, if I go to the 40 to 50 pages, I used to recall everything whatever I have written. So this is one of the best way we can implement. And practice is obviously there. We have to keep on practicing. So that we can try it. Let's see whether it is effective or not. For me, I'm feeling that better one. So whenever I used to go, even in office or in my bag, that book will be definitely there. I have made the small notes in my own words for MVC, for the C sharp, and for the OOPS concept. Those three notes will be there anywhere. Okay, because when we want to revise, we cannot revise the entire book. Textbooks are good for preparing in the deeper level. Okay, that we will do only for 2 to 3 times. It's almost 500 pages, 600 pages. But when we want to revise it, make it your own small notes. Don't depend on the others' notes for that. It will take time to understand the concept. You have to write the note on your own words, what you have understood. For all the topics, prepare it, keep a note. It will help you for the longer terms. And as you keep on learning, as the experiences changes, we understand the more things. We come to know the differences, what we understood on the day one, of on what we understood after the experience of 1 year, and we have slowly we can modify that notes, like because the level of understanding also increases. As a fresher, what we understood the things, it's a good, but the same thing, if you revise it after you're getting experience of 1 or 2 years, you feel okay. I have understood one of the basic thing. This another 3 4 lines I need to add in that. Okay, for your existing note, what you prepared for the same notes, keep on adding the more things, more additional things what you're gaining there. Okay, it's a continuous process. First, we need to prepare our own notes, what we understood the concept. That concept we have to put in our own words, prepare the notes, and keep on learning. As your learning, as experience grows, we will gain some new knowledge. We will come to know about the more a more deeper value of that concept. Add that extra points in that notes. Okay, so that it will be able to short of 60 to 70 pages notes. Just you can revise it within 1 hour. So you have in that case we can recall everything whatever we have studied before, right? It's easy, the short book, like it's easy to glance it. And when you're preparing your small notes with your own words, don't forget to write examples also. If you see the example, it's easy to understand what you're saying, what theoretically what you're saying, practically you can see. Okay, the class is there, class B is there, class A is inheriting class B. Okay, what I have written theoretically, that is example is there. I can see the example, I can understand it. Okay, so the both are you can remember the syntax, you can remember how it is flowing, and that theoretically which will help you to recall the things whatever is happening. Okay, that we have to do it, because I've seen that many times, even my personal experience, I have read the oops many times, and simultaneously I have forgotten with the same number of times. So at last, some small notes helped me, because this is a suggestion given by one of my professor actually. In MCA, he said it. When you go for higher level, when you do your job, there's no one to help, right? We have to depend on ourselves. There are people to help when we are confused with the code or snippet. That's other thing. But while reading the things, while running the new concept, every time we cannot go for the tutorials. Every time we cannot see the classes for long hours, right? Because we have to doing the job, family. So a lot of things will come when you're doing the job. So the best way to is make your own notes. He said when we are in the MCA, that I implemented almost 4 years after. So when I faced the problem, then I felt okay, what he said is correct. I supposed to implement from the day one when I'm doing the job. Okay. Only when we feel the pain, then those points will suddenly remember us. Okay, 4 years back when we are studying MCA, one of your lectures said this, try to implement. Now luckily that is feels very good. Preparing our own notes, it is easy to understand ourselves, because it is written by ourselves. We know what he has written, what that mean. With a small example to define it.
So preparing the notes, when you are talking about the preparing the notes, so it is on the handwritten, or we are on the computer
No, handwritten.
handwritten. Okay.
Yeah, in book, don't depends on the computer anywhere. Write in the book itself, because what we write, we will remember it. Okay, computer work, because just we type the things, we won't concentrate much more. That's the reason I'm saying, write your own notes in the book. Don't see any articles, don't see any book while preparing your own notes. First, understand the concept very well, and try to put your own words, what you have understood today. Okay, I have prepared the class. What is a class? Don't go for the just standard definition. Class is a blueprint for the real world. Class is an all those things. Whatever you get in a book. That everyone know. What you understood about the class. It may be the 3 lines or the 4 lines. Write it. Below that, write a syntax. Below that, write one small program. Okay. Even after 10 days, if you revise it, you can recall. Okay, this is the class. This is the syntax, and this is the code. Okay, I got it. Abstraction. What is abstraction? Polymorphism. What is polymorphism? We are at the runtime. We are overriding. For overriding what we want. Okay, we want the inheritance. What is inheritance? There are two class getting the properties of class A to the class B in own words, right? We can like it whatever we think, whatever we are memorizing. Hmm? Okay, what is the inheritance? There are two class. Okay, there are two class. Class A is inheriting class B. Okay, fine. Class A inheriting class B. It is inheriting methods and the properties whatever it is in the class A. Okay, fine. I got this. These are my own words. I understood it. Okay, what is the syntax for the inheritance? Write a small code. Create a class A, create a class B, and make it inheritance. That's easy to recall. Because every time if you keep on referring the different articles, definitely we will get confused. We have to stick to the one notes, our own notes. Why we will get confused by seeing the different articles means everyone is correct, every author is correct, but their way of using the terminologies, their way of using the words and expressing is different. Right? Some author will give a different example, some author will give a different example. Some author is using the very complex words in the definition, and some author is using the different terminologies. Okay. So that leads us to confusion. Okay, again we have to think from the beginning. So stick to one note. Stick to first to understand the concept from the different authors wherever you want. After reading everything, you come to one conclusion. You think it what's happening. After thinking it, just try own words, own simple words, so that you can see even after 1 month you have to able to recall what you are studying. It will help you. Even you return the notes for the 2 pages. If you have went through the concept for the 20 pages, you read for 20 pages, and if you are writing the own notes for the 1 or 2 pages, that one and 2 pages notes will help you to recall all those 20 pages what you have read 10 days back. Right. So
So,
just
so,
like implement.
Pawan, what I'm doing, right? So, whatever the video I'm following, so I'm taking the screenshot and putting into the Word file. Like that way, I'm doing.
Okay, that is better. That is better, but try to write it in a book. Take a pen and book. Try to write in your own words. Then you come there itself. You come to know the difficulty, how much you have understood, how much you have getting difficult to remember the things. Because when we try to write in our own words, we will write only when we have understood everything, or else we stop there itself. So in that situation, again go back, again prepare, again read the articles, again practice, again, and after that again write with your own words. Try to implement with your own words. You will remember for the longer time. Even that I am doing it from the last 1.5 year. It's helping me a lot. Okay, even for the just before the starting of the class, just I will go through the notes for about half an hour. Then I feel confident that I can say something to you. Okay, just don't every time don't prepare on the notes to PowerPoint. Those are good, but again stick to the basic. Book and pen are the more effective way to keep your personal notes, especially the things which is related to your concepts which you're going to implement. Some things are like a fact, some program that you can keep in your world, you can copy paste it, no issues. But here copy paste doesn't work. Right in your own words. Try it. It is quite difficult for the first time because writing is not an easy task. Just write to the whatever you understood, right? Same way in your own words, write it. It may not be grammatically correct, no problem. Syntactically it may be wrong, but the main concept you have to understand in it. Right. For example, we see a movie, 3 hours movie, and after coming out, if you want to say the movie to our friend, we won't take 3 hours. For 15-20 minutes, we'll say everything, whatever is a movie, we will say it to our friends who didn't came to that movie, right? We saw the movie of 3 hours. When we want to say the story of the movie to anyone, We don't take 3 hours or 2 hours. In 15-20 minutes, we say everything, whatever in the movie, right? So when we can do the movie, like whatever we are seeing in the movie, we can do it in 15-20 minutes. In the same way, we can implement in our studies also. Concepts, what you are studying it for the 1 hour, that 1 hour, what you are studying, try to write in your own words for the two pages, maximum 1 to 2 pages. That's enough, more than enough, 1 or 2 pages. If you're unable to write in your own words what you understood, give a small break. Again, go for the start one, prepare it, practice it. Again, write in your own words. That your own words will help you the lot. Okay, that's the important things, especially in those concepts. Because when we come as the programming languages, when we say the developers, so programmers, OOPS will play an important role. Even while you're selecting for the job, they select based on the OOPS concepts. 50% the questions they will concentrate on the OOPS concept, and another 50% they will concentrate on the other programming languages skills, like C Sharp questions they will ask, MVC questions they will ask, they'll ask SQL. But 40 to 50% they will judge you on the OOPS concept, how good you are, especially when you're going for the some reputed companies like CMA level standard 3, 4, or 5. There they will deeply want to know about the OOPS concepts. That's the reason I'm giving a lot of stress before starting. Yes, I'm saying how we will start it. What is the way to remember it? Okay, let's not waste longer time, study for months and months. Again, after months and months preparing, again we forget. Again go for studying. No, we study for the one time. Very good. It may take 1 month or 2 months. We'll go it after preparing the OOPS concept. Just well, simultaneously we are preparing the own notes. When you complete your OOPS concept, you have to be confident that okay, I know this thing very confidently. Even though if you forget after 1 week or 10 days, the notes which you make by you, your own notes, will help you to recollect everything within 1 or 2 hours. Okay. Okay, so this is the OOPS. OOPS is very easy to understand and easy to forget. Even I'm saying many things. Now, even in my personal experience, I said because I used to schedule interviews on the weekend, Saturday. And Friday night, 2 o'clock, I used to prepare for the interview. I used to attend the interview on Saturday. I feel very confident. And the next week again, I used to schedule an interview in a different company. It's on again Saturday. I used to forget everything within the span of 5 days. I used to forget everything. Again I need to prepare. Saturday, Friday night, everything worked again. That's the mistake I was doing. Why it is getting difficult? Every time whenever I need to prepare, I randomly go for the Google, type OOPS concept, all those will get many articles. Every article explains in a different way. There we are getting the confused. All articles are correct, all authors are correct, but their way of explanation, the terminologies they are used, they clear us confusion. Okay, again we have to go, okay, what is saying this? Again we'll go back, what is saying this? So we have to understand everything. That takes lot of time. Okay. Once you understand everything, prepare your own notes. In that notes, you'll get the basic thing. Okay, this is abstraction, this is class, this is polymorphism, this is static class. That's a small snippet is there with you. That notes just before of day before interview or day before, just you want to revise it. It will reconnect everything, whatever you have prepared, whatever you have practiced. Okay. This will seen about the concept, how to prepare, how to implement. So we'll see what are the things in the OOPS concepts. Okay, these are the about the OOPS concept as we discussed. Encapsulations, abstraction. How we can achieve abstraction? We can achieve abstraction in the two ways. One in abstract class and interface. Okay. Don't confuse. We'll discuss in the next session. We'll go at everything very clearly, very deeply. We'll invest more time in the OOPS concepts because it's again the important thing I'm saying. I'm stressing again and again. It plays a very important role when you're going for the job interviews or if you want to understand any programming. If you know those concepts, you can understand any programming language or even any framework very easily. When you go for the MVC, In MVC, everything is a class, you know. But if you didn't understand the OOPS concept, if you don't know the OOPS concepts, when you go for the MVC, in MVC you play only with the class and objects. They will get difficulty. What is class? Again, come back to the OOPS concept. What is object? Again, come back to the OOPS concept. So first we'll see the OOPS concept. What it is there. When you go, if you feel some okay, I have some basics. I am good in the OOPS concept. Then MVC is very easy for you. Just if you know the syntax of MVCs, how to create the pages, how to create the controllers, how to create the view, how to pass the data from the view to controller, how to connect the data from controller to database. That's it. If you know that in MVC, everything is very easy because everything you have prepared in the OOPS concepts. What is class? Overriding, passing the variables, array list that we are setting. The same thing we'll use there because MVC is also using the C# language. Okay.
No, Pavan, actually, what issue I am facing, right? Like, I know the concept of abstract and the encapsulation and all that, right? But the problem here is when I work on anything, right? So I didn't understand where to use the encapsulation or abstract class or seal class somewhere. You getting my
Okay,
point?
okay, yeah. Yeah, I got it. That's also important. Yeah. That we'll see. That we cannot discuss now. While seeing the topics, we'll see. Okay, when it comes to seal class, we'll discuss in a way that what is the use of the seal class in real-time scenarios in a project where we are going to use the seal class.
Okay.
Abstract class. Okay, another there is a standard entry question. Where we will implement the abstract class? When we will implement the abstract class? Okay, that we will see while seeing the while studying the abstract class. Okay, before preparing anything, we will see. We'll keep these 3 points: how to prepare, how to implement, where they will use, and the benefit. These 5 points will cover everywhere. Okay, even the same things we try to implement while studying the methods and given some for looping iterations, like for loop, all those things we try to implement such a way that. But the OOPS concept will implement with a much more energy, with much more stronger way that exactly where they are implementing, what is the use of it, when to use. Okay, this will say it. This is about the inheritance. Inheritance is that passing of data from parent to child. Okay, in inheritance you cannot modify the what they have written in the parent class. You cannot modify it. You can use as it is. Okay, this is a class A. Yeah, why this I put the cross mark? Hybrid and the multi-level hybrid and the multiple inheritance is not allowed in the C#. Even in the Java also, it is not allowed. Why it is not allowed? Because it occurs ambiguity. We will see in the deep. Just I am giving an overview. It occurs an ambiguity. What is ambiguity? They say it has a diamond problem. When implementing from the class A to class B and the class C. Okay. But when you implement same in the class D, it will get confused from where to call class C or the class D. Okay. That we'll see in the deeper. So why it is not allowed? What is exactly ambiguity problem? What is an if you go for the multi-level? It is allowed in the C. In the C we can go for the multi hybrid and the multiple. But why they have removed in the C#? In C# and Java, they removed multiple and hybrid inheritance. To overcome, they implement new things called as interface. Okay, what is interface? Interface is a bunch of abstract class and abstract methods again. We have to derive it, abstract class and abstract method in the deriving classes. That we will see. Okay, this is a single inheritance from the class A to class B. You can see here is the class A is there. What is the when it is a you can see it here. When it is a double quote here colon, it means it's an inheritance. Class B is inheriting class A. So whatever the properties and methods you have written in the class A, that will be inherited in the class B. Okay. So when in the class B you have the more things, the class B definitions and methods, in the class A properties. If you use the class B, you will get the both class A properties and method also you can access it. No, I want only for the class A. I don't want the class B. Then go for the class A. Don't go for the inherited class B. Multi-level, multiple. Here you can see what is the multi-level. Don't confuse the multi-level with the multiple. This is a class A. This class A is inheriting to the class B and class C. Because separate class is having class B and class A. When it comes to the multi-level, it is multi-level. When it comes to multiple is that this is class A, class B is inheriting class A, and class B is inheriting class C. And class D is there another. That class C is inheriting class C. Here it is class C. So here the get has ambiguity because in the class C there is n above class A is there and this class B is above class A again. So here get the ambiguity which class A I have to go. The class A which is belong in the class B or the class A which is they are implementing here. There it gets the ambiguity. So that's the reason they have removed the multiple. But it is possible in C++. In C++, they are specifying the specific class and the properties. This is hierarchical. This is class A. This is again individual, what we discussed previous. Here is the hybrid inheritance, right? Here I said why it is diamond problem, ambiguity. Why it's coming in ambiguity? See, class A is inheriting the class B and class A is inheriting in the class C. Till here it is correct. Back when we come for the class D, when the class D, sorry, okay, in class D, you try to inherit class B and class C. Where ambiguity? The class A is in class B and the class C is in C. So class B contains the properties and the method of class A. Class C contains properties and methods of the class A. So when in the class D, if you're implementing both, here you can get confused. Okay, class B is clear, class C is clear. But here I'm having the property and method of class A. Here also I am having the properties and method of class A. Which to take in the class D? There they get the ambiguity, there they get the confusion. Okay, that is the reason. This is called as a diamond problem, right? It's like a diamond, right? Class A, class B, class C, and class D. So the usual girl say it's a diamond problem. Okay. In C, they have in C++. What they do, they go with the class, specific class. Okay, class B of class A, class C of class A. They're mentioning like that in the C and C++ language. We can do it, but in Java and C++, they remove that. They are implementing a new concept called interfaces. Okay. So these are the advantages. We'll see. Just I'm giving the overall brief explanation today. Polymorphism is about overriding the things. In polymorphism, we will see about the two things: overloading and the overriding. Very important concepts, interview point of view as well as the real-time implementation. We'll see the two things: method overloading and overriding. Okay, so next slide, I think overriding is there. Another one is overriding. Overloading is an compile time. While compile time itself, it will check the what the parameters you are passing, the signatures and the method name is matching to the what you have mentioned. Is that exist in the code? Yes or no? If it exists, okay. If it not exist, we'll get a compile time error. That is overloading. Overriding, yeah, here is the overriding. Overriding is a runtime. While compile time, even if it has any issues, it won't check. Why? Because it is checking in the runtime. You're creating the constructor based on that constructor to which method, to which class it is calling. Whether that the class has an override or not. If it is an override, then it will skip that class and go for the another derived, what you have mentioned. So it will do that things after compilation. So that's the reason we call it as overriding is an Dynamic one, runtime polymorphism. Overloading is very simple. Just we take a method and functions, and what are the parameters you're doing? That parameters is matching to the what you're calling. The methods and the signatures exist in your code, then it's okay. You're correct. Overloading is done. But overriding is little bit complex to understand. It's not that easy as overloading. Overriding, it compile time it will happen. We have to see to which constructor is calling, and that calling method and that class of the method is overridden or not. Okay, that we'll see it. That is the about overriding. It's a runtime polymorphism. This or the why will you use the oops? It definitely it will prevent the duplicity. More than duplicity, it makes the things very simple to understand. Um, it keeps the things in a proper grouping, in a proper class. Okay, it's simple to understand. Avoid duplicities, abstractions. We are we are not exposing all the data. We are not exposing all the code. We are passing only method what is required. So that we can say to some extent there is a security is also there. Okay. So we are not giving any code to anyone. Just we passing the parameters. Use the library. If the library is in DLL file, it's in the assembly. But we can use in the methods. We can use those methods. We can use everything. We cannot see what is inside. But when you're using a framework, if you get the things, it's more than enough. I can use the methods. I can pass the parameters. I can do the work. What the code written inside, what's happening inside is not required to me, and even they are not showing. That's all. You can say that they are protecting the code. To some extent, the security is also there. So about the benefits about the OOPS concepts. Okay? And tomorrow we'll see about the deep things. Till here I will just make like an introduction points. So I have included everything here. This is about just to get aware what we are going to work on. All those things. Inheritance, hybrid, advantage, polymorphism. These all are things we are going to concentrate on more. No, and from the next session we will concentrate topic wise, is concept wise, class. We'll spend class for tomorrow's sessions, and then we'll go for the step by step. Okay. I think this is better enough for the starting and concept, introduction to the OOPS. So tomorrow we will see in deeper how we tomorrow we'll start the actual OOPS. Actually, the sense we'll start with the class. We'll see how the class to implement, what is the class, way to implement. Again, important thing, when we create the class, only the OOPS will start. If you're not creating the class, then there is no inheritance, then there is no polymorphism, then there is no abstraction. So class is the important thing. We'll start with the class. We'll start with the instances, object. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see about the class and object and implementing them. Okay guys, anything to know, anything to ask about the OOPS concepts or anything, or else we can wind up for today.
Sure, Pawan. Thank you.
Okay guys, so we will stop today.